Oh, what in the world is that noise?
No, honey, don't include me.
What's that?
Don't don't make me join in the stream because I'm lying down. I feel not good.
That's alright, we can't see you anyway.
But you still soon when I feel better
Alright,
and
so we're going to be making a website with React JavaScript. And as you can see above me, got my missus up there who's still in bed. So yeah, yeah. So we're going to be building a website. So my mother decided she wants to make some, like, she made some memorable cushions out of my father's shirts, and he passed away not long ago. So that way we keep dad and to my nephews and that grandpa close. And yeah, so we're going to, so she wants to keep making those for other people and that kind of stuff. So that way, yeah, you got a memorable something from your past loved one. So we're just going to put together a little website, just roughly out of React JavaScript. There's probably there are much easier ways to do it than the way I'm doing it, but yeah, I'm a bit of a controller when it comes to coding and stuff like that. Well, my projects, I like to build them out of code from the ground up and go from there. So what we're going to do is so we're going to do create React app and the name of the directory we want to create it into. So in this case we'll just say mums_site and hit enter. So what is it again? Hang on. Yellow. Yeah.
I'm still here.
Oh, silly me. There we go. So now that's going to install like the React scripts and that kind of stuff. So that way we can call like npm start, and that'll start like a local part of like a local layout of our thing. So my brother must be watching because he's messaged me ha 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 because he rang me while we're streaming. So
Whose brother?
my brother Ashley called me while
Ashley, okay.
while I was streaming, or while we're streaming. So yeah, little punk. So
Say me hi.
hey,
Say me hi to your brother.
he can hear you.
Okay. Hello. Hi. Hello.
Yeah, okay, awesome, nice work.
Too bad. My voice too bad.
Yeah. Oh, is he still messaging me? There's a flapping hand. Yeah, that's hers. That's Shane, yeah. uh, Alright, so that's taken ages to do that. It shouldn't be taking this long, but my internet is completely and utterly horrible. So, so while we're here, we can do npm install, and I'm going to use what's called Spectre CSS. So it's a CSS framework library. So it's like Bootstrap and all that kind of stuff. But why are you waving your hand like that for?
Just to notice that I'm here.
Okay. So we're going to say spectre.css. We're going to pull this from the node libraries. We're also going to hit Redux because we're going to use that. So there should be Redux logger. Then there's React Redux. I can't think of the other one. Oh yeah, that's right. So there's I think I got Redux logger, or is it React logger? Yeah, it's Redux logger. And Redux Thunk, which is middleware we're going to use. So this way we can pass properties between components. So as you create a element, we can create properties and stuff between those elements and stuff like that. So yes, React, I think it's router DOM we're going to want. I'm pretty sure we're installing that on the other one anyway. So we're doing React DOM, but we want the React router DOM. This will work. So if we want pages and stuff, we can create a client-side router. Client-side router for the pages and stuff like that. So the other one, so we got that React, Redux Thunk, Redux logger, and Redux itself. We've got React Redux. Let's have a look. Yeah, so we'll do React Scroll. This will allow us to do like smooth scrolling between elements in the page. So you can click on a link and it'll automatically scroll, nice animated scroll to the page instead of just going boom, you know, just hitting you up there. And there's another one called normalized CSS. So we're going to install that as well. And when we add that, we want to add that normalized CSS below our Spectre CSS import. And the reason being for that is the normalized CSS fixes little bugs and stuff that come into your CSS and that kind of stuff. So like say you got like a page element and that kind of stuff, and it's just sort of not really like your HTML element and that, and your overflow and that's all failing in that. So the normalized CSS will fix the page overflow and bring it back into its proper browser form. So, and it fixes little things like that with oh, there we go, we're done there. So now we can hit this one up, and it fixes other little things and that as well. So we can explore the CSS once it's imported to the program or into our project. So that installed Redux Thunk normalized. Like the CSS. Okay. So if we want to use like animations and stuff, we can import what's called AOS, animate on scroll. So as you scroll on the page, you can get like little elements and that sort of, you know, slide up and slide in from the side and make it look all a little bit tidy and that. So, but we can install that after. That's no big deal. Now I normally go along and set up my structure. So I have a specific structure I like to add. So the HOC is our higher order component. So you'll see when we get to that. It's so like no matter what page we go to, our header and footer will always be there, and everything else will render in between. So that's our higher order component, which we'll call layout. And within layout we'll have the header and footer, and in between the footer we'll have the props.children, which is whatever we put in between our layout tags in another element, another file, then that'll render the header, then whatever's in between it, and then the footer. So here we'll just say contents, which will contain our app.js, which we'll sort out after. So assets go in there, we get rid of the test, we don't need that. Index will go in there as well. So we don't need the logo either. And we don't need setup test. So they're the only ones we're going to leave in the main one. And then with our folder, we'll go components. Inside components, we will add header, footer, intro. And inside assets, we'll add a folder called images. So we're going to put all our images and our CSS. Awesome. So that's that sorted out. Contents has app in it. Excellent. All right. And that's all we need there. So we'll go back here and we'll open that with code. So I've made it nice and big for you guys to read. But here we'll have to go to index, and we're going to remove pretty much all of this. So I've got what do you call them? So I've made custom what are they called? Snippets. So yeah, I've made custom snippets. So so when I say I do red like that for reducer, that hits it up like that. And so base reducer is what we're going to call it. We don't need that. So that's the fonts we're going to use. Line icons, so I don't have those. We're not going to worry about those in this. So there's the thunk middleware, all that kind of stuff that I made. We don't need compose enhancer anymore. Redux thunk reducer, and we don't need compose. So contents app, and we're not using any of them, and so we're not using OB. just want to import spec CSS. Normally, why isn't it showing up for me? There we go. So we don't need that. Browser router is router from React DOM, yes. For web vitals. Ah, we needed the use effect. Silly me. I'll get it right eventually. Okay, so that's looking not too bad. So oh yeah, so apply middleware. Now, just in case, I decide to go down that. We got app. So here, what we're going to do is these are our actions. So the actions we're going to pass through this will be to do with like the nav bar and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to say set navbar, and this will be from this and reducer action. So that's, we'll still need to make that yet, and this will be reducer, and we'll say on set navbar. Now what we're going to do also is we're going to say connect, and then after connect will be app, and we want to pass through, we want to connect our custom props and everything to our actual program. So then we got that and that and that. Now we need to add our reducer folder. I'll call it reducer or reducer. Excellent. Okay, so from here we're going to say new file. So that'll be reducer.js. And we're just going to say reducer, and that will be navbar. See, I've made a lot of this into snippets because I make a lot of them at like I make these quite a bit. So action.js. Navbar, and this will be set navbar. I think we called it, didn't we? Set navbar. That's all good there. Xconst, and we'll call that navbar. So that's the indicator that's going to indicate between the actual reducer. So when the action type gets detected as navbar, it'll apply the value that we set from the action. So we set an action in here. So with navbar, we'll say we'll send an action called true, for instance, and that action then gets passed through the reducer, through its middleware, through the reducer back into it, and passes the new action into the variable, well, our initial state. And so what I'll have to do also is say initial state base, just so it's not like that way it'll call the base reducer as the indicator for that state that gets passed to the property. Now here we're going into make, this is what we were talking about before with our higher order component. So we'll just make a stateless function. So this is a class which carries a state, so we can set a state and then update states within that function. And then we've got here with our layout, which is a stateless function. So this gets called when this all updates, which was a state function. It updates on state updates and property updates and all that kind of stuff. So that's when this will get called. So what we want to do here, so in between here we want to import the header from contents, components header, and that'll be header as well. So we want to do the same thing but with footer. And then in here we're just going to say props.children. So that's our components, and then we're going to go back here and then we'll import layout and change this to layout. So whatever we put in between layout here, because of our higher order component, it'll call this, and then it'll render our header, then it will render whatever we put in between the layout tags, and then it will render our footer. And if we go to a we build a separate page, then that page will also do the same thing if we add our higher order components as layout into that as well. So now that we've done that, we want to also create a folder, and we'll say pages, and within that pages we'll say main page JS. What is that horrible sound? Shane, can you mute your mic? I think your mic giving some feedback. She must have fallen asleep. Yeah, there we go. Sound's gone. Yeah, so she must have fallen asleep. But anyway, here we are with the main page, and so the main page, what we'll do is we'll do that as a stateless function as well. And within the so within the main page, what we want to do is this is where we're going to call so the intro. So let's create an intro JS, and that'll be a stateless as well. Don't have to worry about anything with that. What I might actually do also is create a CSS for intro as well. So this way we can when we go into it looking for, when we go to like make modifications to our CSS, we don't have to actually go to our assets CSS and scroll through endless piles of code. So when we when we render this is when it's going to actually it's just going to put it all into a single CSS file anyway, and minimize it for us as well using Webpack. So let's go back to our pages, main page, and here now we can import intro. That's going to carry over the CSS with it, and there we go. Now let's head back to app. I'm a little all over the place, sorry about that. So with layout, we're going to pass navbar. So we're going to pass in the property from navbar, and so we have to head to layout, and we're passing that into our header. So now when we build our header, we can actually utilize that property that we're passing through. Oops, no, we want CN. And our footer as well. Alright, tedious part's done. Now the fun part, building it. So we've got all that sorted out. We don't have to worry about a whole lot of component anymore. App.js, so what we're going to do also under here, we're going to import main page, and then we're just going to say main page. So also I did so we've got the provider sending the store through. Well, we don't need the browser router in our here, so we're going to add the browser router up here, and because we're passing that in, we're going to need routes and also route. So I'm going to come here and we're going to say routes and then route. So this will be path equals the root. This will be the root of our path, and this will be exact, and our element is going to be this. And that's going to be the end of that route. So we can copy that, and this will be so we'll say contact us, and it's not going to be an exact, and we'll leave that empty, and then we'll just do an about also. There we go. We'll say and this will be so if none of them match, then it's just gonna throw an error. There is a way to redirect it back. Yeah, I haven't done that for a while actually. It's kind of a fluke that I found it anyway, but yeah, so if the page doesn't exist, like if it's not an exact match to the root of the URL, and it doesn't contain this or this, then it's going to fall into this, which is just going to be a completely blank page. Let's do like with a header 1 and go from there. Alright, so we don't need to worry about app anymore, so we've got that sorted out. Now let's have a look at our main page. So we want that to be normal, which is good. So intro, we're going to say class name. So the class name, we're going to say section cell, and I'm just going to say intro. And then from here, goes, oops. Class name now. So we want our header, our intro to be a certain size. We want everything to be in the middle. So we're going to use a flex to do that actually. So with the display of flex, do that. The way I might do that is actually we'll do intro outer for that one. And we'll sort that out in the other one. Hang on. Okay. And then we can go with the intro outer. We can go class name, and this will be container grid.xl, and then whatever we're going to do in here. So class name, and let's say no, we need center. And it's going to say so we're going to do col 10. I think that's the way it's done. I haven't done Spectre for a while actually. And then we'll just say H1 something for a test. So now we're going to go to intro. So intro is going to be relative, and we're going to need it to be a height of, let's say, 400 pixels. Width is 100%. And we'll leave it like that. Actually, we'll go background color for now, but we're going to use an image for the background. Intro outer. So this will be display flex, and then we'll say flex direction is column, align items center, justify content center, but we actually want to align the items flex start, and then we'll just say heights 100%. Okay. We probably don't need this. See what happens. So let's start rendering it. All right, so okay, that's easy. npm install web font done. Imported as navbar found in constant navbar navbar. Okay. Oh, navbar action. There we go. Beautiful. I want this one. Okay, so we're in the middle. Let's have a look. Beautiful. That's exactly what we wanted. So we've got the intro, which sets the height and all that kind of stuff. Yep. So we're gonna have to get rid of the section because that. Once we build the section, that's going to be like our padding and everything like that. So we've got that in there, and the flex grid. The container came out nicely. Columns. And which one's being called? Column 10's being called. But if I bring that down smaller, okay, so now that's when it calls to column 12. Goes to full width. And if I expand to column 12, okay. Column 10's been lined out, and column 12's taken over. Then we come back here. Column 12 doesn't get hit, and column 10's still lined out. Why? Oh no, column 10's still good, just didn't update. Awesome. Alright, so that's working. That's all good. Reduce so we can forget about. And now we need to work on intro a little bit more. We've got the base of the intro sorted out. So now have a look. Yeah, that's what I might test. Let's see how our routing happens. Nothing happened. we go about. Okay. Oh, okay. So we've got the two divs. And if we go about, we just have the two divs in there. If we go just plain contact, we've got nothing in there because it's an empty page, but it's not calling our error. But if we go contact us, we've got the two divs, header and footer. Alright, so our routing's working, but it's not actually not throwing us the error route. So we can come back to that after. Maybe. Yeah, we'll come back to that after. Little goblins in my head are dancing. Alright, so we've done that. Don't have to worry about layout anymore. Let's actually have a look at the nav bar. So yeah, we're going to work on the nav bar, but it's still like a little. Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to decide. With Bootstrap, it's quite easy. You just import the React Bootstrap and call it straight off the component. But Spec2C CSS, they haven't really. They're not really that. They're not as advanced as Bootstrap, but it's a vastly smaller library, and like compile times and everything, building it and that kind of stuff everything's just so much more faster, and yeah, it's just so much more better. So what we reckon we might do, so because we're passing on a property to navbar, or we're passing through the navbar property, And what we want to do is when we're scrolling, we want to set the property to say, hey, we're scrolling, shrink your navbar. So you know, bring it in nice and compact, and then go from there. So the way we do that is to pass in the operational parameters. So, and we're going to use the backtick, which is the button up next to number 1. And this allows us to use like properties within, along with a string. So you're going to have like your standard classes in your class attribute, and then you're going to have your property which will change. So yeah, I don't know, you'll see how it works in a moment. So we want to call p fixed, which is position fixed. It's a part of the Spectre CSS library. And then we're going to have navbar, which is ours, and then we're going to have our property that we're passing through. So it's going to be props dot navbar. Now this navbar is going to carry a property through saying either shrinked or nothing. So what we might do also is bring that up against it like that, so it'll keep our code nice and clean. And when we pass shrink, we'll pass shrink with space. So that will separate that from that for us, which will be nice and easy. Now we want to add a nice container, so which will grow and shrink as our screen sizes. It's how we're going to keep things in what do you call it? It's yeah, how we're going to keep things in responsive due to the sizes of them and all that kind of stuff. So, oh dear, excuse me. So now we're going to pass in the header element, and the header element is going to have our custom class name in it, and I'm just going to call it header nav, something like that. And because we want our elements all in line, so we're going to say d inline flex, so we want it to be a flex grid so we can use margin and all that kind of stuff. And then we can say align items center, and actually we might actually put a custom style in there. So the style uses double curly braces, and we can just say width, and because we're using a percent and not a integer, we have to use the quotation marks. Yeah, so now we've come that far, let's save it just in case. And we now need to do a we're going to use their what's it called, so both of them have navbar brand, Bootstrap and Spectre CSS, and this is where we get to use some of the other stuff. I think we might need to make the other one, but we're going to use d inline flex again, and for this time we're going to say margin right auto. So margin right auto is going to automatically use the whole thing. Instead of saying, you know, margin right 5 pixels, 10 pixels, it's just going to go whop and put a massive gap in it. So we're going to have our on the right side of the screen is going to be our logo, and then on the left side of the screen is where everything else is going to be. Oh dear me. Yes, so yeah, we can work it like that. So here we're just going to go logo, links. Now we need to go here, new file. So we need to add some of our custom CSS in there. So here we're just going to say never, don't forget the dot because it is a thing. We really need to see what else, to be honest. Okay, so it's super tiny. And we also need to add yeah. Okay. So this is to allow us to do transitions when things change and that kind of stuff. So what we also want to do did I call it header nav or head nav? Header nav. Okay. So do a line item stretched with a display flex. Dear me. Okay. Drawing blank. I'll come back to that one. I'll come back to that one. So oh no, we want to justify it. And we want to do space between. There we go. Logo and links. But it's still small. And we need that. We need that to be very much bigger. So How would I do that? Whether I need to do it in header or nav. Oh no, there we go. But container is that size. Header nav is that size. That. I did width at 100%, so why isn't that? Oh, silly moo. Silly moo. I haven't, we'll do that in MR auto will be margin right auto. That's one of those. There we go. So our links are over here and our logo. We've done deflex and align items thread. Oh, idiot. I forgot to do those as well. Okay, let's have a look at something here for a moment. Much better. Much. So, um, all right, that's working out quite well. Now we need to have some images drilled away somewhere. And let's throw them in the images thing. And awesome. So what we'll do here, come back to header. This is the logo, right? So this should be, and we'll add an alt. And it should be, I think that's what it is. Oh, so that's rather big. So let me check to see if that actually Image responsive. There we go. Yeah, so it is working. Do limits. Do the navbar blend. So we'll do it that way. So we'll come down here, navbar, then header nav. Navbar brand. And we'll say heights. Yeah, that's nice. That's good. I like that. Probably make it a little bit bigger. 75. Yeah. And we need to go back to intro. We want to say padding top. We want that to be, let's say 80 pixels. That brings that down. And then we need to go a bit more than 80. 20, 40, 75. Save it. Perfect. That's nice. And on scroll, so this is where we're going to bring in the header. So this I'm going to pass off shrink to it. So it'll be navbar.shrink. So I've got this padding right. And we're going to reduce that down to 5 pixels padding. Let's call that 55. So if we come here, that's what it's going to be like when it's scrolling. We want to add probably a little bit more to it, so 12. That's quite nice. And then when it's back to the top, then we remove the shrink parameter, the shrink class, comes back to that. So see how it flashed, the logo flashed, didn't transition into it quite nicely. So what we want to do is come back into that and navbar brand. We're going to take these transitions and we're going to throw them into that. So now when we add shrink back into the class set, whole thing goes in nice. And if we remove shrink from the class set, and that comes in quite nicely as well. Alright, so our header's pretty much sorted. Now let's work on the functionality of it all. So we need to create a new class in here, a new function. This function is going to be called scroller, and going to be an overflow function. So we also need to set component did mount, and we want to window dot what did we call it? Can't think of the name of it. I know it's a listen. Add event, I think it is. Type of keyword map. So we're just going to say scroll, and listener is going to call this dot scroller. Okay. Now we're going to set, no, we'll have to do let height equals window dot the position. Oh, the name of it. What was not that? Yeah. Think for half of it. Have a look through my And we built that one. Wow, this one doesn't either. So I'm basically going to run it, determine the amount that's been scrolled. So when it gets to the amount that's been scrolled, then take part. So oh, you really? That's all it was? Scroll wire. Wow, all that, and that's all it was. Unreal. Then I'm just going to say if height is greater or equal to 10, let's say 10, then onset navbar, and we'll do space shrink. Yeah. Else if so we'll do 300. So if height's greater than 300, we're going to show a oh, I don't need that. That's just a little placeholder that we're going to do. Yeah. So if the page reloads, this won't really do much. So what I reckon I might do, we're going to build a constructor. No, I won't do that. I was thinking about doing a just a state toggle using preserve state, but yeah, I didn't want to do that. Okay. Let's see. We're going to need to make the main component, the main page. We're going to so now we can scroll. Happen. Have a look on what's going. Realize. Alright, so our nav bar is not kicking in. So nav. Set nav bar goes to nav bar. Nice. Okay, so that's all right. Now, the reducer, nav bar, initiate state base, nav bar, nav. Oh, here we go. Uncaught type error. Oh, never mind. My mistake. So it turns out that I made a boo-boo. It's a prop, not a function. So reload. There we go. So as we scroll, why isn't it? Ah, no, we don't do it there. Nincompoop, we do it here. There we go. Oh, so that's the basis of it. That seems a bit big now that we see it coming back. So let's move that back to 60. Let's move that to 45. That's, yeah, so that's the functions that we're working with, and might take a break and come back to this another time. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, so I'll see you in the next one.